I'm going to take here to talk about and review the Nerf Alpha Strike Fang QS4. Now this is the new line that basically everybody is assuming that Nerf put out to compete with the likes of X-Shot, Dart Zone, and Buzzbee. And specifically, I'm going to say that they put it out to compete with X-Shot, who in my opinion, despite everybody knowing I am a huge Buzzbee fan, I do think that X-Shot is the current leader in small pistols. And why is that? The reflex is awesome. The Fury 4 is just as good in a slightly smaller package. And then you got the little micro shots, as well as you have the 3-shot version. But those pistols all are very, very good performers that, for us on the modding side, handle modifications extremely well. Simple modifications can throw that reflex up into the territory that's normally reserved for mag-fed Springer primaries. Now, the thing is, this line, the Alpha Strike line altogether, is meant to hit lower price points than Nerf normally would hit. It used a simplified construction and a whole new color scheme. And another thing it does is it gives you more darts than normal for Nerf. Normally, if you have, like the Fang here, is a 4-shot smart AR system. 4 shots. Normally, they would throw in 4 darts. This thing came with a package of 10 darts, which is above and beyond what you normally expect from Nerf. And here is the huge thing. This thing, in my local Walmart where I picked it up, retailed for $4.88. That's under the $5 mark. That's normally, the only way you find any blasters there is if you look at the X-Shot. I picked up a couple of Fury 4s at the same time as well, because those are on clearance, and I will be doing a comparison between this and the Fury 4. I think it's a very valid comparison. But we're going to stick with the Nerf Alpha Strike Fang for now. Again, it has the QS4 designation, which would be Quick Shot 4 or Quick Strike 4, but we're going to call it the Fang. The Fang itself, again, is a spring-powered, front-loaded pistol, which you take and you load in your new colored elites for the Alpha Strike series. They are yellow with orange tips. Maybe it's just me, but that reminds me of very, it's before my time even, but very 70-ish color schemes that you would think to see on maybe 70-ish or, you know, as in 1970s or maybe early 80s. It kind of reminds me of old toys that you would have seen from back then. And I'm not saying that as a derogatory way. I actually kind of find the very warm colors to be interesting. And it's not something I dislike at all. But it also has a very minimalized look to it in appearance. And to take that even further, Nerf has not assembled this with screws. This body is snapped together, which does leave a little questioning for long-term durability if you do take it apart and modify it in some way, shape, or form. How is it going to handle being put back and forth together? Because I've started to take this apart a little bit to get a good look at it. It's held together simply by tabs that are just shoved into place and click into place. Like for instance, this top shell, you simply pull it apart and then lift it off. There's no screws holding this together. The front section here has a tab that you would depress at the top as well as at the bottom, and then you could slide this portion out. The back where the priming bar is, you have a couple of tabs there, and one at the bottom you'd have to use a little flathead screwdriver to get at, and then you could pull the whole thing out. Which I'll do a disassembly video on this if people have any interest in seeing this line and how it's assembled. Because I do think long term there's going to be some questions of how this is going to handle being worked with. But for those of you who just look for an inexpensive blaster to pick up to have fun with the family, under $5 gets you a rear prime, spring-powered, front-loaded pistol, which again, you just take your darts, and for those of you who are not familiar with smart ARs, you can put in darts, let's just say randomly, one at the top, one at the bottom, you fire it, and then it will sense where you put it, and then you can randomly put another one here, fire that, and it will sense by air chamber, it routes the air until it finds a dart, and then it'll fire that dart out. But it's a simple mechanism actually. It sounds more complicated than it really is. But for those of you who are looking to modify this, it means there is a limit to the efficiency. It would be the best way to put it, because the air has to route from the top down to the bottom. So the most powerful barrel will be the top, and then it'll get sequentially weaker. I found this thing actually, in the top barrel alone, was hitting the high 60s, sometimes touching that 70 foot per second mark in initial velocity that Nerf basically always hits. But it fell all the way down to 63 feet per second on the bottom barrel. And yes, I actually did repetitively load a dart and fire it, and I was using AccuStrike type darts to do my chronograph testing, as well as the included Nerf Elites. I just kept placing them in the specific barrels. The top one would get anywhere from 68 to 70. I found about 65 to 67 on the second barrel, and then I found around 64 to 65 on the third barrel down, and I kept getting about 63-ish, sometimes 64 on the bottom barrel. There's where that Smart AR system loses power as it steps down. But that's not bad for a $5 pistol. Now, here's the surprise of all things. In my limited use so far, just a couple of days of playing around with it, would I recommend this pistol? Oh, heck yeah. This is exactly what Nerf needs to be doing to get people to pick up their blasters more and more, instead of going the route they've been going, where they keep releasing very full-featured blasters that cost a fortune, higher and higher prices. And that's allowing their competitors to come in and outdo them in their value department. Like, say, for instance, Buzzbee, Dart Zone, X-Shot have been just absolutely killing them on the lower end of the price point by offering better performing blasters for cheaper. Well, if Nerf's going to find a way to do things like this, then oh yeah, I'm on board big time. This thing is definitely a viable sidearm for those of you who are just running around playing in the backyard, or even in competitive sense. This is something you could load up with 4 darts, stick it in a holster, stick it in a cargo pocket, stick it down in a spare pocket on your vest, have it ready. Don't have it primed, of course, but just have it at the ready, pull it out, and you got 4 backup shots. Real quick. Because, like, the Zombie Strike Quad Rock came out, and it filled that role at $10. This basically is a reshelling of that. Not exactly, because that one actually had a different construction, but this is basically taking that same idea of a 4-shot front-loaded Smart AR system with a rear priming bar and putting it in a half-price package. So that is something I can definitely recommend. So whether you're just a family member looking to go grab something fun to play with you, your friends, your kids, whatever, just firing across the office or in the backyard, the Nerf Alpha Strike Fang is a good option, retailing for $4.88 at your local Walmart, and of course I'll put a link to the website where you can find that. But I find this thing to be a usable and fun pistol that is available at a really good deal. So this is going to be a pistol from Nerf that I highly recommend, even compared to their competitors, and that's unusual coming from me. But again, this is Mongoose Jake, my review of the Alpha Strike Fang QS4 from Nerf. Again, this is their new Alpha Strike line, value packed, and still packing reasonably good performance at really good prices. Hope you enjoyed the video, and thanks for watching.